If you had bariatric surgery and you think that you eat perfectly all day long, but you find yourself completely going wild at night and eating mindlessly in the kitchen, maybe you're standing at the fridge or grazing on leftovers or finishing your kids' snacks, even though you're not even hungry. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to break that cycle so your evenings become peaceful instead of stressful. I'm Jessica Lawson, and I've helped over 150 bariatric patients stop weight regain after bariatric surgery by rewiring their brain's relationship with food. And if this is your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, or if you're on TikTok, hit the follow button, because I share the hard truths about exactly what you need to know to be successful after surgery that your doctor, nutritionist, no one ever tells you. Look, I've been there myself, eating great all day long, feeling proud of my choices, and then completely losing control the moment I got home in the evening. But here's what no one tells you. Surgery was just on your stomach. It didn't fix your evening eating patterns, and your brain still has the same stress responses, the same comfort seeking behaviors, and the same habit loops that led you to food before surgery, gain all the weight, and needed surgery in the first place. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly why nighttime eating happens after surgery. And newsflash, folks, it's not about willpower, it's not about self control, it's about brain patterns. Then I'm going to walk you through a 5-step system to stop evening food thoughts before they start. And yes, this works even when you're absolutely exhausted from the longest work days and you have no motivation, no willpower. It's all completely shot. And if you want to dive deeper and get my complete system for wiring your brain's relationship with food, I have a free masterclass that shows you my exact method. The link's in the description below or at the link in my bio if you're on TikTok. But first, let me give you these 5 critical strategies that you can start using tonight. Let's dive into step 1. And this might shock you because it has nothing to do with willpower. Most people think that they just need more self-control at night, but that's actually missing the real problem. Your evening eating isn't random. It follows a very predictable pattern that you can map and then completely interrupt. Because here's what's really happening. Between 7 p.m. and bedtime, you hit what I call the danger zone. This is when your decision-making energy is completely depleted from the day. Your stress hormones are still elevated from work or whatever happened that day, and your brain is desperately looking for the fastest way to feel better. Food becomes the automatic default solution because it's always worked before, sometimes for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, if not longer, and decades, all right? The solution here, all right, is to become a detective of your own patterns. For the next week, I want you to track exactly what happens in the 5 minutes before you start eating or start grazing. Not what you eat. I don't care. I do not care what you eat, but what triggers the eating. Are you bored after finishing a work task? Are you stressed about tomorrow's overwhelming schedule? Are you standing in the kitchen cleaning up dinner and seeing leftovers? Are you watching TV and feeling restless? Or were you walking past the pantry purely out of habit? Write down 3 crucial pieces of data. What exact time did the urge hit? What specific activity were you doing right before? And what emotion were you feeling in that moment? Most people to start, they really just have 2 to 3 predictable trigger patterns. I know, wild. And maybe it's always when you're loading the dishwasher at 8 p.m. and you see leftover pizza from your family, or maybe it's when you sit down to watch TV at 9 p.m. and feel like something is missing. Maybe it's when you're reviewing emails before bed and feel anxious about a big meeting at work tomorrow. Once you know your exact pattern, you can then create a specific intervention for each trigger. But you can't change what you can't see. But the moment you can identify your specific triggers, you have the power to completely redirect them before they hijack your evening. Strategy number 2, your evening routine. Here's what most people get completely wrong about evening routines. They try to use willpower to stay out of the kitchen instead of creating a routine that naturally and automatically keeps them away from food. Because your brain follows the path of least resistance. So we need to make the non-food path easier, more appealing, and more automatic than the food path. Most evening routines that people have fail because, number 1, you probably don't have an evening routine, probably just going and sitting on the couch and eating food, or they also rely on you to remember to do something different when your brain is already tired and exhausted and running on autopilot. When you get home from work, the last thing you want to do is work. But When you create a structured routine that physically moves you away from the kitchen and gives your brain a clear, engaging focus, the food thoughts disappear automatically without any effort or willpower required. Here's how to design an evening routine that eliminates food thoughts completely. The moment you finish cleaning up dinner, immediately and deliberately leave the kitchen area. Go upstairs or go to your bedroom, wherever that is. Go to your living room, anywhere that's not near food. Then give your brain a specific, mildly engaging task that requires just enough focus to prevent wandering thoughts, but isn't so demanding that it creates more stress. So here's an exact routine that could work for you. It's one that's worked for some of my clients. 8 p.m., finish the kitchen cleanup and immediately go upstairs, turning off all kitchen lights as you leave. 8:15, take a relaxing shower or bath to wash off the day's stress. When you're doing it, I want you to literally imagine yourself washing off the day's stress. 8:45 p.m., get into some comfortable clothes, ideally something that makes you feel good, and set up in your bedroom or your living room with a book, an adult coloring book, a puzzle, crochet, or a calming podcast. 9:30 p.m., start your wind down bedtime routine. Now, notice how this routine never brings you back to the kitchen area once you leave it after dinner. And each step naturally leads to the next. Your brain stops thinking about food when it has different, more satisfying focus and you're physically removed from all food cues. You're not fighting cravings with willpower. You're preventing them from even ever starting by redirecting your brain's attention. Let's talk about step 3, building non-food evening comfort strategies. Let's be real. The real reason that you eat at night has nothing to do with hunger. And both you and I know it's true. You're not actually craving food. You're craving comfort, relaxation, reward, or connection after a long, stressful day. And the problem is, food only gives you about 30 seconds of that feeling. And then you're left with the original need plus guilt and regret on top of it. Think about it. When you mindlessly eat at night, does it actually make you feel less tired? Does it solve tomorrow's stress? Does it give you the deep relaxation that your body's really asking for? Of course not. You get a brief moment of oral satisfaction and distraction, but then the original emotional need is still there. And you often then feel worse about yourself. So this is why you need what I call an evening comfort toolkit. These are simple 2-minute strategies that actually give you what your brain and body are really seeking. So these work better than food. And that's the case because they actually address the root need, what you're struggling with, not just the surface craving, and they leave you feeling genuinely satisfied instead of temporarily numbed. Here's some of the most effective strategies that my clients use. So for stress relief, try the warm washcloth technique. Run a washcloth under hot water and press it to your neck and shoulders for 2 minutes. For comfort, create a cozy corner with soft blankets and pillows where you can curl up with herbal tea. For the something in my mouth feeling, keep sugar-free mints, herbal tea, or flavored water nearby. If you're feeling overwhelmed emotionally, try the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, and repeat that 4 times. If you need to reward yourself after a hard day, give yourself 10 minutes of something you genuinely enjoy. Music, a funny video, or texting a friend. Here's the key. Test different strategies and notice which ones actually satisfy the feeling you're seeking. They're not going to all work for you specifically. That's why you need something personalized. But your evening toolkit needs to have at least 3 to 4 go-to options that you've tested over time and genuinely work for your specific needs. Strategy number 4, setting up your environment for automatic success. Because your environment is either setting you up to win or setting you up to fail. And most people completely underestimate how much their physical choice influences their evening choices. You can have the best intentions and the strongest willpower, but if your environment is screaming, "Eat me, Jessica," every time you walk through your house, you're fighting an uphill battle that you don't need to fight. Here's what's sabotaging you. Visible trigger foods on counters, easy to grab snacks at eye level, dirty dishes that keep you in the kitchen longer, and lighting that makes your kitchen feel inviting at night. Your brain makes decisions based on what's easiest and most obvious. So if the easiest thing is grabbing something to eat, that's what you'll do automatically. And the solution is to spend 5 minutes every evening strategically setting up your environment so that success becomes the automatic choice. We're going to make healthy choices easier and food choices harder. all without relying on willpower or remembering to do anything different in the moment. So here's a 5-minute evening kitchen prep routine. First, put away all visible food. Counter should be completely clear except for maybe a fruit bowl. Second, move any sugar snacks to high shelves or opaque containers where you can't see them. Third, dim your kitchen lights or turn them off completely after dinner cleanup. Fourth, set out everything you need for tomorrow's breakfast so you're not opening cabinets and seeing snacks. Fifth, place a water bottle in your comfort toolkit items where you'll be spending your evening. You can also create a positive visual cue. Maybe it's putting a photo on your fridge of how you want to feel in the morning. Place your book or evening activity where you can see it from the kitchen, or even put a sticky note on your pantry that says, Evening Comfort Toolkit is upstairs. Look, success becomes automatic when your environment supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. You're not fighting temptation, you're removing it completely. Strategy 5, planning your evening recovering protocol. This is the step that prevents one night of grazing from turning into weeks of completely abandoning your goals. Most people think that if they mess up one evening, they might as well throw in the towel until they can start fresh next week. But that all or nothing thinking is exactly what turns one imperfect evening into months of weight regain and frustration. Here's what happens in your brain. You graze one evening, and instead of just moving on, your brain goes into full shame spiral mode. You know what I'm talking about. You're telling yourself, I have no self-control. I'm never going to figure this out. I might as well just eat whatever I want tonight and start over tomorrow or Monday or next month or next year. It's November. Why not wait till January 1st? This perfectionist thinking creates way more damage than the actual evening of grazing ever could. This is why you need a planned recovery protocol ready before you ever need it. Not a punishment, not a restriction, not a way to make up for what you did, just a simple, compassionate way to reset your brain and get back on track without drama, shame, or waiting for the perfect moment to restart. So here's your exact evening recovery protocol. If you do graze, stop as soon as you notice what's happening and say to yourself, this is information, not failure. Drink a large glass of water, brush your teeth immediately to signal that eating's done, and go straight to your planned evening routine. The next morning, don't skip meals or restrict to make up for it. Eat your normal breakfast at your normal time. And within 24 hours, text one supportive person what happened and what your plan is for tonight. Most importantly, remind yourself, this was one evening out of 365 this year. My brain is learning new patterns, and learning includes mistakes. The goal here is not perfection, it's resilience. Someone who never grazes but spirals for weeks when they do is less successful than someone who occasionally grazes but gets back on track the next day. And one evening never derails your progress when you have a recovery plan. You can learn how to bounce back in hours instead of waiting weeks to restart, which means that you maintain your results long term. Let me tell you about one of my clients, Maria, who used these exact steps. She came to me completely exhausted from her nighttime eating pattern, and she told me, Jessica, I ate perfectly all day long. I'm so proud of my choices, but then 7 p.m. hits and it's like a switch flips. I graze until bedtime. It's leftover pasta, pizza, my kids' chicken dino nuggets, whatever's in the fridge. And she tried everything, keeping healthy snacks only around, brushing her teeth early, even asking her husband to hide food from her. Nothing worked because she was fighting the symptom instead of addressing the root, because she felt like she was a failure and was convinced that she'd never have control over her evenings. But then Maria and I implemented these exact 5 strategies, and she mapped her trigger pattern, discovered she was always grazing when she felt overwhelmed from work, whenever she was cleaning the kitchen. We then created an evening routine that got her out of the kitchen by the right time, and we built a comfort toolkit with tea and a cozy reading corner. And she set up her environment so that her kitchen became less inviting at night. And most importantly, she planned her recovery strategy so that one imperfect evening didn't derail her entire week. Within 2 weeks of implementing these strategies, she messaged me saying, I can't believe I'm saying this, Jessica, but my evenings have actually become my favorite part of the day. They're peaceful, relaxing, and completely food-free. I actually look forward to my evening routine now instead of dreading the battle with food and myself. This is exactly what's possible for you too. Imagine finishing dinner and feeling completely satisfied, and not physically, but emotionally too. You clean up the kitchen, you turn off the lights, and you naturally move to your evening activities without a single thought about food. And your evenings are peaceful and restorative instead of stressful and chaotic. Maybe you're curled up with a good book or enjoying time with your family, feeling calm and content. There's no mental battle, no standing at the fridge, no guilt about what you're eating when you're not even hungry. You go to bed proud of how you spent your evening, nourished, relaxed, and at peace. Then you wake up the next morning feeling light and energized instead of bloated and regretful. And you don't have to make up for last night's choices because you made choices that you're proud of. Your evenings become a time for genuine rest and connection instead of food stress and regret. If that sounds like the life that you want to live, and you want to become someone who naturally stops eating when dinner's over, someone who has peaceful food-free evenings, then I want to invite you to apply for my coaching program where I teach the complete brain rewiring system. And this is where we go beyond just evening strategies and rewire your entire relationship with food. We're going to address the root causes of emotional eating, stress patterns, nighttime grazing, and automatic food responses so that healthy choices become effortless all day long. And my clients don't just stop nighttime grazing, they completely develop food freedom. So if you're tired of the mental exhaustion that comes from battling food thoughts every single evening, and you're ready to become someone who just genuinely doesn't struggle with food anymore, not someone who's always fighting cravings, but someone who simply doesn't have them, then apply at the link in the description below. Or if you're on TikTok, apply the link in my bio. This isn't about learning more willpower techniques. I do not believe in willpower. This is about becoming a fundamentally different person around food, someone whose brain automatically chooses what serves them best without any internal struggle. And if this video helped you understand your evening eating patterns differently, make sure to hit subscribe or follow because I share all the bariatric brain-based strategies that you were never taught. And let me know in the comments, which of these 5 strategies are you most excited to try out?